There's a very interesting trick that can be learned from Skool.com, which is a new educational community based platform specifically for people that want to start or scale online communities. And whether it's for educational purposes or for entertainment purposes, although it's typically for education, this is a new platform that has been co founded by Sam Ovens, who was the founder and CEO of consulting.com, which was another e learning platform. And he made Skool, 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 as a community based educational platform, basically. And until very recently, it wasn't really in kind of mainstream self help business entrepreneurship news. However, in the last few months, especially in the last couple of months, as of the end of 2023, beginning of 2024, the founder of acquisition.com, the author of our $100 million offers and $100 million leads, Alex Hormozi, that we now all famously know in the business and self help and entrepreneurship space, he invested into Skool and invested into Sam Allen's business. And because of this, obviously, it's massively catapulted the kind of popularity of Skool. And I think there was a few people that were aware of it. I must admit, I hadn't heard of Skool before then. I think I'd seen maybe pictures of some screenshots and things of different communities and different influencers. I watched some of their videos of. They had kind of links to their thing, but I didn't really know what it was. Obviously, until Alex Hormozi mentioned it in a bunch of different posts and started doing paid ads towards it. And so I started looking at Skool in more detail. I looked at a bunch of videos from Sam Ovens because they just started randomly coming up in my feed as well about Skool and about everything he's done in his past and making, he used to had a very corporate job and then ended up living with his parents. He's a New Zealand-based entrepreneur anyway. Went to live with his parents and then started consulting.com, which was a former e-learning platform which he sold, and then he made Skool. And so now he has Alex Hormozi as an investor, and I'm pretty sure some other investors as well, maybe, but I'm not sure about that. But I've looked a little bit at Skool and I've looked at the community side of it, which is basically its primary purpose in helping people that want to start building maybe mainly educational based communities start and scale them from the ground up. And it allows people to start, free memberships, paid membership communities of any level. And I think the reason Alex Hormozi invested in it in particular is because I think a lot of people can agree, but obviously there would be some bias here with Alex Hormozi being an investor trying to promote it, is that it's basically going to become and is almost a front runner for the next, or not even next, but a Facebook for businesses. Now, you could technically agree that, and you could argue here that like LinkedIn is the Facebook for business owners and entrepreneurs and small business owners. However, I think this kind of puts a twist on it. And this takes many features and elements from a lot of different social media softwares, platforms, and applies it to one place. Because you've got a community element, you've got the kind of posting, kind of making it look like some kind of chat room and forum. But then you've also got the course side, which is we kind of know from Skillshare and Teachable. And it's bringing all of these together and it's making it this very, very unique platform that's never existed before, really. Which is why Alex Hormozi has obviously got some bias here, but I think from an impartial perspective, just looking at it, I think it's got the potential to be like the next Facebook and a Facebook for kind of wannabe entrepreneurs and business owners going forward, people that want to make communities going forward. Now, obviously, not every single person in the world is going to become the next Andrew Tate or Alex Hormozi or have some multi-million dollar following. But it opens doors for people that haven't yet been able to build communities as easily and as conveniently, which is why it's probably going to become a multi-billion dollar company and platform in the end. But in this video, I don't want to talk about, what Skool is because I've just explained it there, or what I think it's going to become. I want to specifically talk about a little trick that they're using for marketing and for, trying to promote the platform, and how a few other companies, a bit like ClickFunnels do, and even like Alex Hormozi does himself a little bit with acquisition.com do, in how they use this very interesting trick to obviously create awareness for who they are, what they do, but also how it's actually got a compounding effect on what it does for their brand, and how it kind of has an exponential, like I said, compounding exponential effect on just the overall growth of the platform. And this is a very simple and straightforward thing, and it mainly involves word of mouth. But ultimately, it's a trick that allows them to just have this explosive growth, not even by having to do anything themselves, but it simply uses the combination of word of mouth, testimonials, and reviews to create this ultimate, ever-evolving machine in perpetuity for something that just creates explosive growth. And in this case, it's for Skool, or whatever other platform wants to use this, or software wants to use this. Now, this specific trick I've seen very recently applied twice. Once to ClickFunnels in a very recent video I was watching, which Russell Brunson, the founder of ClickFunnels, it's an amazing place that allows you to basically very, very affordably create a funnel to sell basically anything you want. And they've used this. Now Skool is doing it. And I've seen many platforms do this before. And to be honest, everywhere has done this to a certain extent. But I think not many people consider this as a way to market. But it's actually a very obvious one when you really think about it, and it's a very simple one. Now, like I said, it links to word of mouth, it links to reviews, it links to testimonials, it links to all of these things. But it's not just about having a good recommendation from something, or someone recommending this and saying this is good, this is that. Instead, it's about the performance. It's about not only how well a customer or client of this platform is doing on there, but about them saying how someone else can do that too. Now, it works in both ways here, and this is why this is such a powerful form of marketing. I mean, word of mouth is if not the most powerful form of marketing anyway. That's always going to be the way. If you make such a good product or service that you can get your customers and clients to recommend other people, that's just got a domino effect that's going to have explosive growth for you. Because people will want to talk about how they've had amazing growth, and if that growth is because of you, then it's just going to be naturally explosive and go everywhere. It's going to spread like wildfire. So this is exactly what they've done with this form of marketing. And it's kind of proof how word of mouth works so well. It's proof that if you make a good product or service, this is naturally what happens. You've got people that are course creators or community creators that sign up to, for instance, Skool in this case. And you've got many, many, many communities. You've got some massive communities. You've got thousands and thousands of tiny communities. It's always going to be the way. It's kind of the 80-20 rule, the Pareto principle. There's always going to be the ultra successful and the bulk that are doing well. So in this case, the way this whole trick works, and again, it's been done across hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of companies even around the world, but there's just obviously always these select few that do it amazingly well. Again, kind of the 80-20 rule of this. So what happens? Let's use Skool's case as an example. Skool starts up, and obviously, let's say over the last 6 months, it's had explosive growth. It's had explosive growth, in this case, because you have, let's negate Alex Hormozi from this example, having millions of followers and promoting it. Let's just say it was only this, but Alex Hormozi has helped as well. What they've done is you have people that have found massive success on Skool, have started communities because they've been sharing it elsewhere. They've been sharing it through their videos, their other content, whatever. And they've had their fans, maybe 10% of their audience, if they've got 1 million followers, they've had 100,000 people sign up to it. So they've got a massive community there, or maybe 10, 20,000 people a month signing up to their community. And maybe they have another community that's paid as well. So out of all these people that are signing up to this influencer's community, a small percentage of them will potentially want to start their own community, because maybe this influencer happens to be helping other people trying to achieve financial freedom, trying to make money online and part of that is maybe setting up a community, become an influencer. So a small percentage of the influencers community are going to be influencers themselves. So they will become customers of Skool. Now, naturally, obviously, the first part, the massive fan base of the influencer will just be paying for the access to any paid membership that the influencer that has a membership with Skool has. So naturally, obviously, the influencer's making money through Skool and has their membership to actually have their community in the first place. But then you've also got the people, like I said, the small percentage of influencers' fan base that want to make their own community as well. So let's say if you have 100 big influencers, say there are 1 billion followers, right? Let's say, that's quite an extreme case. Let's say there's 500 million followers, right, across 100 influencers. Those 100 influencers bring, let's say, 10% of that 500 million, so 50 million, to Skool across all of their different communities that they have. And obviously, these 100 influencers are paying the $100 a month for the Skool membership to be able to have these communities. And maybe it's per community, maybe it's just one, however many they want to have. And obviously they might have their free level and then a paid level, so it might be smaller. But either way, if you have 50 million people out of 500 million that maybe choose to join the communities that these influencers have, then let's say that even just 1% of the 50 million choose to create their own communities and choose to use Skool to create their own communities because they've been influenced by the influencers they look up to because they're fans of these people that have made communities on Skool. So, going back up to Skool, if we look at kind of like a tree of, it's almost like one of those arcade machines of seeing how it trickles down. It's almost like a family tree in a way. You have Skool that offers the platform to create communities. You have the top influencers signing up to these communities, signing up to Skool to create communities, millions of people signing up to their communities, and then out of those millions that sign up to the influencers communities, thousands of people start their own communities and start their own communities, and it's just an ever-evolving machine of communities, and also like forums and posts in general anyway. And the way this works is because you have influencers that at the top level and every level really, but especially at the top level that is more noticeable, talking about the success of their communities. Obviously, they're trying to promote it and get more people in their community. But this is how they have such explosive growth, is because when you have the customers or clients of a company, of a platform, talking about how they've made so much through the thing and how their fans can too, that's going to cause explosive growth for that company. So in this case, if it's Skool, or if it's like ClickFunnels as an example, ClickFunnels decided to run almost like award-based competitions for people that have made $1 million through ClickFunnels. So what does this do? For ClickFunnels, it proves that people have massive success through ClickFunnels. It's helping the clients that have achieved $1 million through ClickFunnels, and it shows how well ClickFunnels do and how good they really are, because people are having massive success with it. If it costs you only $100 or $200 to have a funnel and people are making millions, that's a great investment if you've got a product or service that you want to offer. And so this trick allows people to, obviously in this case, if you have a company and you want it to have explosive growth, it's all about having the best possible product or service you can, so that your top clients and even any client or customer starts talking about how amazing it is and how much success they've had with it, because then that influences other people to then want to do it themselves and become a potential customer or client. And then those people do, and then those people do, and those people do, and it keeps expanding and expanding and expanding and expanding. And this is almost like kind of performance marketing, but through word of mouth, almost like domino effect that has exponential growth. Because when you have a community that influences more people to start communities, which influences more people to start communities, and it goes on and on and on and on and on, it will have exponential growth. Now, in Skool's case, it is just about communities and making forums for different people to join and maybe paid memberships and through courses and content. But like I said with ClickFunnels, that's about showing customer success to him to show how good the product and service is so that more people want to sign on by showing their success stories. Because it's ultimately just a natural form of human nature. People love success stories, It's why there's testimonials. It's why testimonials are a thing. Why do you think the real world has testimonials? People have made tens of thousands in a month, hundreds of thousands through the real world. It's all about showing how good something is by how well someone has done using that thing. It's like showing how you show how good a product is by showing off the effect it has. And I think this is just a great trick when it comes to, generally building a great community, building a great space, whatever it might be. And again, Skool isn't the first one to do this. ClickFunnels isn't the first one to do this. I've just noticed this very recently again. But obviously, it's something that, platforms and companies do all the time. They naturally are able to market themselves by having a great product or service that their customers or clients will talk about their own success through it, and by wanting to promote their own success through it in their own community so that they get more money, they by proxy make more money for the actual software or platform they're using to make money in the first place. And it's this ever-evolving machine. So I think it's a great trick for being able to have explosive growth that's exponential with a compounding effect on the success of whatever you're trying to make. So the best way to really do that is by always focusing on making the best possible product or service that the customer or client will just naturally share their success with it and how well they've done by using your product or service, which then just has explosive growth. And then that's ultimately the best way that you can make something very similar. But that's how Skool have done it, that's how ClickFunnels have done it, and how many, many, many other successful businesses and platforms and softwares have had explosive growth with their platforms and with their businesses. So something to think about, something to kind of consider if you ever wanted to do your own thing like that. But that's how Skool have done it, and maybe that's how you can do the same. So be on the lookout for it when you see success stories, when you see people promoting their own platforms and their own courses through these platforms, to see how maybe you could do the same. Maybe you have a Skool community. Maybe you have a ClickFunnels membership and show how you've made millions through it. Because ultimately, you're helping that platform get more customers so that you can get more customers and helps everybody. So I thought I'd just share this little interesting insight, and I hope maybe you'll want to do something yourself with it. Yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.